Hey mate, hey Jordan, how are you today?
Not too bad. A bit cold this side.
Where are you right now?
Oh, just in Lismore, but like been in the tropics for like the past year and a bit. So
Yeah, yeah. There's actually winter here.
yeah,
Yeah.
getting the temperature to below 28 is a bit hard.
You're spoiled up there, mate.
Uh,
Uh, yeah. Well, thanks for coming on my podcast today. And yeah, for I'm sure people of the NCP community know who you are, but for the two or three people who don't know who you are and your story, could you quickly just like introduce yourself and like yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you study, and yeah, what you're currently up to right now. It's an interesting time.
yeah, so my name's Jordan, as everybody knows. I'm a Bundjalung man from northern New South Wales,
Yeah.
and I'm from Southern Cross University in the Lismore campus, and I'm studying marine science at the moment.
Mm.
Technically I'm finished, but I got like a unit to go, but I've already handed my paper in. So
Okay. It's finished. It's finished.
that's limbo land at the moment.
Yeah.
So like I'm having about 6 months, and then hopefully I'll get onto my honours next year and do some coral reef research, hopefully.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow. And so honors is the goal, and then after that, do you plan to get into the field to do research, or is there? I'm not too familiar with the marine science world.
Yes.
Yeah, like what would be the future goal or direction that you're trying to head to?
So for me, it's probably hopefully go for a first class honours.
Mm,
We'll see what happens there,
yeah.
and then hopefully that leads onto a PhD, and I'll do that, finish up in a PhD, and
Uh,
then aim is to do coral reef research, whether
yeah.
uni or at a NGO. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
You know, these days things change so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. And like, how did you get into marine science? Because it's pretty niche. Usually students will be doing, business, engineering, law, marine science. Well, I'm in Sydney at the moment. I'm not sure if there's any universities that actually like offer that. Even though
Oh,
we're near beaches, but I don't think there are any like corals and
yeah, I'm
exotic
not
fishes
sure.
around.
Maybe the Institute of Sydney might do it.
Yeah.
Not too sure.
Yeah.
I'm really far away from Sydney.
Yeah.
I never lived there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was always had like a strong connection to the ocean growing up. I've always lived on the coast,
Mm,
so like there's a pretty strong connection there. But it didn't really come till I was doing my apprenticeship as a mechanic. And then when I went up scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef, and I saw
yep.
like a biologist while I was up there, I was like,
Oh
oh,
man.
I want to do this. I love working on cars. It's hurt my back. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a crack and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's going pretty good so far.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to hear. Oh, okay. So you're working out as a mechanic in the past. Um, Pardon me, I did read a couple articles on the NCP website, and I did stalk your profile a little bit. Your journey hasn't been as conventional as a lot of students coming out of high school, just going straight to uni, going to the workforce. But
Yeah.
I think that's worked a lot more well for you, and you seem very happy about that. So, like, like, what was the journey like from going from school and then now here at NCP? Like, did you want to
Yeah, it's
tell us your story a little bit?
quite a journey compared to most people.
Yeah.
So high school wasn't a very good place for me. I did not like it at all. I really
Yeah.
struggled in high school. I don't know if it's because I was immature or just had struggle
Mm,
focusing at all. So I
yeah.
ended up practically almost failing.
Mate, we've all been there.
I got one of the lowest ATARs ever, so
Yeah.
that was fun. But like at high school, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a zookeeper.
Mm,
So I went and talked to my careers advisor when we had our careers day and our meetings and stuff, whatever they do these days. And so I went there and I told her that, and she's like, "Oh, you probably won't be able to do that. So you got to
what?
get into uni for that unit." So I was like, "Oh,
uh,
awesome." And so then I was in year 11 and 12, like, well, what's the point?
I didn't know you needed a university degree to be a zookeeper.
Yeah, you need to go do like zoology at a degree
Oh,
or biology or something like
I
that.
see. I see.
And so obviously I did not have the grades to do that or to get into
Ah,
units. And then
yeah.
oh, I'll just aim for like business tourism or something like that now.
Yeah. Nothing against people that do business tourism, but like,
Nothing against it at all.
of course.
Just kind of lower ATAR for
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing I was going to aim for. And so high school finished,
Mm.
and I got my grades back. I was like, awesome. I got like 30 something. I was
Yeah.
like, I ain't getting into uni at all.
Ah.
So I ended up moving to the Gold Coast to do some work. I was working like 60 hours a week.
Oh man.
And that's when my partner at the time was pregnant. And so I was like, oh, awesome. So we moved back to Lismore
Yeah.
just to be closer to family.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I got a baby on board. I was only working at Woolies at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
time to find a career sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the apprenticeship for a mechanic came up at Tire and Auto. So I was like, oh, give that a go.
Yeah.
Got about halfway through it and just really wasn't feeling it. And that's
Yeah.
when I was scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef. I got my opens in Byron Bay probably the year before that.
Open scuba diving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I went up north and went to the Great Barrier Reef and just loved it up there. I
How
always had
could
that,
you not?
yeah, I always had that connection to the ocean. And seeing that marine biologist up there, I was like, I might give this a crack at something I've always been passionate about.
Mm.
Got nothing to lose. I'm still on apprentice wages. Big money ever.
Yeah.
So, and then I enrolled. Well, I could get into uni based off my Cert 3 light vehicle mechanic.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too sure I could do uni.
Mm.
So I enrolled into the Southern Cross University Preparation for Success program just to see if I could do it. Like it's a free bridging course.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and it was just to test it. So he's like, "Oh, can I do uni? I sucked at high school, so I'll just do this for just to make sure I don't pick up any debt."
Yeah. We're studying something you like, at least, in
Yeah, exactly.
university. Yeah.
I've done the preparation course, ended up getting 3 distinctions and a high distinction. I was like, "Oh, sick!"
Mate.
I was
What did
like,
high school do to you?
maybe I can do this. Hey.
Yeah.
So I enrolled into the marine degree the following year, and I ended up getting maybe it was straight distinctions. I'm not too sure.
Mm.
I was like, oh, awesome, I actually can do this. And then
Yeah,
I
man.
backed that up with some good grades again the next semester. And I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll try the research pathway and see if I can do that. So I aimed a bit higher.
Mm.
And once I was comfortable at uni, I started doing some community work around the uni with Indigenous mob,
Yeah.
the uni teams, ambassador roles, and all that. And then I stumbled across the scholarship and applied, got that, and here we
Rest is
are.
history.
Pretty much, and as everybody knows.
Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't bring you on here just to, rehash the story. I want to get some exclusive, content. So, yeah. What do you think? Like in high school and university, what was like the difference that you felt that really made you struggle in high school, but really made you feel comfortable and succeed at university? Was it like a habit, or was it something that the content that you were learning, or yeah?
A lot had to do with as me pushing myself to be there. As at high school, you have to be there. You don't really get a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uni, it's like, oh, I wanted to be here. I'm also doing stuff that I or working towards stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Really helped. And I guess I went to uni when I was, how old was I? I think maybe 24, 23.
Mm.
So I was a lot more mature, and so I wanted to be there was probably the biggest factor.
Yeah.
Me, being successful at uni.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of high school kids just, they finish high school, jump straight into university, don't know what they're doing, hop around like 2, 3, 4 degrees, and then come out and they still sort of don't know what they're doing. I can tell that story because that's me. Uh, yeah, man. Yeah. But I think, yeah, I'm a little bit older now, and I've been overseas for some university trips, and maybe for you it was the diving in the Great Barrier Reef, and you know, finding
Yeah,
what you actually like. For me, it's like traveling, like, and just understanding new cultures, and like just everything's new and new experiences, and there's so much that I don't know of. So that's what's really pushing me to, yeah, move forward and to learn. Yeah, but no, it's rather interesting because yeah, we're both NCP scholars, and you've been to Fiji.
yes, yeah. I've been to
Yes, yes.
Fiji for I think it was like a year, and then I was at the Philippines for like a few weeks until
Mm.
COVID hit, and I was yanked out of there.
What were you doing in Fiji? Well, on
So,
the scholarship.
so on the scholarship in Fiji, I done probably like a week's worth of language training at the start,
Mm,
just to learn about the cultural differences and learn about the culture a bit more.
mm,
And then I done a year's worth of study at the University of South Pacific in Suva.
mm,
So I was there for that, and then I was seeking out some internships while I was there, and there was one I done at Reef Explorer towards the end, but I was doing stuff with him on
mm,
weekends and
mm.
holidays and stuff. And so that was he was a marine conservation organisation, and I done coral restoration, coral spawning observation, and some other marine stuff. And then
Yeah.
I done my research project there as well.
Do you think the coral reefs can be saved, mate? Like from Sydney, I'm just like way far away from everything that's happening. I'm just like hearing the headlines and everything, but
Yeah,
yeah,
not looking pretty, to be
not looking
honest.
pretty. All right.
There's some people are saying that the reef's already dead. We can't save it. I believe we can.
Mm,
We just have to turn ourselves around a little bit and be a bit more focused on what we're actually doing to our environment. So
mm,
we can turn that around and save the reef. A lot of good research out there at the moment with like coral restoration and land management and obviously emissions control.
mm.
It's a cool thing. My uni is partnered with another university looking at like cloud brightening to try and reflect some sun and lower the temperature a little bit.
Ah,
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully, heaps of
yeah,
people trying to fix it. So hopefully, it gets
yeah,
fixed. But
yeah. Because okay, this is off like my E10 science knowledge, but like corals are pretty important, right?
yeah, they're very important.
Yeah.
They probably only cover about like 1% of the ocean, but they house and shelter probably 1/3 of all marine life.
Wow.
So they're very important, not just
Yeah.
to the sea, but to people on land as well.
Mm, I see. Yeah. Yeah. Coral, I think maybe to me is just a tourism attraction, but yeah, to the fishes and to all the marine life,
Well,
that's really important.
very important. It protects our coastlines as well. So
I
without the
see.
Great Barrier Reef up there, those storms would destroy Queensland and
Mm,
half the coastline.
I see. And I'm guessing that's really important for like the Pacific Islands because uh, if like there's like flooding or rise in sea levels without the coral reefs, they'd be just devastated, right?
Well, most the Pacific Islanders and even in Southeast Asia where the coral reefs are there, a lot of the communities rely on the fish in the ocean there to live. That's mostly their protein intake there.
Mm,
They also protect the coastline from big storms and possible
mm,
cyclones as well.
mm, mm, mm. And do you think there's like you did refer to there's enough research and there's like growing research, but is like what's like the issue? Like, do we need more money pumped into research, like more climate aware conscious actions, or
Obviously, I'm just an undergrad. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. But
no, no, yeah,
obviously, the emissions and the government getting on top of that stuff's super important. We need to slow down the global heating so it's not changing the climate
mm,
heaps and destroying the environment for all corals and animals. So we need to get on top of those emissions, and we also need to get on top of pollution going into the waterways.
mm,
Obviously, plastic's a big one as well. So It's not
Mm,
just a one thing's going to fix it.
yeah.
You need to get on top of it, and so does public. So hopefully, if we can turn a corner come COVID and we start in the direction. But
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are staying home these days because of COVID, so less emissions from the cars, at least.
Exactly.
But with the plastic, a lot of people ordering things online, and more plastic are coming in through that. So,
Yeah,
mate, that's
so
not the best.
hopefully some shops start going a bit more sustainable. Less than
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just we got a demand change for it to happen.
Mm, mm, mm. And yeah, so you are in Lismore, like, but do you prefer the lifestyle like in Lismore and like in tropical Queensland rather than in Sydney? Like, why do you prefer, like, or why have you like always sort of preferred living in maybe in a less urbanized or metropolitan area like in Sydney?
Yeah, so obviously I was born in Sydney, as I said before, but we
Yeah.
moved when I was like maybe one or two. I
Mm,
moved to the Northern Rivers here in Lismore,
mm,
but I've always been close to the coast. I kind
mm.
of like it there. Not much of a city person. 6 months I did live on the Gold Coast. I hated that. Like it's a lovely place. It's just too many people for me.
Mm,
I like the more relaxed lifestyle.
yeah,
It's a bit better for me.
yeah.
Hmm.
Do you think a lot of the city goers are missing out on like a nice relaxed, because a lot of people living in the city here, once they hit retirement they'll move up to the coast. Well, I know they move to like Port Macquarie. That's like probably like one of the furthest parts away from Sydney they'll go, but probably not up to Lismore. Is it just like a different lifestyle change, or
I think some people want a lifestyle change. Some
yeah,
people get tired of city life. It's a bit full on. Like
that
when
is true.
being in Sydney, I was just like, it just doesn't stop. But no, yeah, so a lot of people like that change of lifestyle. It's
Mm,
very attractive, especially here in the Northern Rivers. Get a
mm,
lot of people moving from the city, moving into, like, say, Byron Bay,
mm,
surrounding areas. They're starting to pick up a lot of people moving in just for that different lifestyle, I think.
yeah.
You've got a lot of nature, a lot of waterfalls, and some good beaches around as well. So I guess that's a good attractant for those people.
If you think Sydney doesn't stop, once you go to like Asian cities like in Southeast Asia or like, East Asia, mate, they don't turn off the lights at all. Like at least in
Yeah.
Sydney. Yeah.
I was in Suva, and
Yeah.
like, I was there with other NCP guys that are from like Sydney, Canberra, and all those sort of like in Melbourne.
Mm.
And they're like, it's not like it's all of them. And to me, I was like, this is a lot of people. Traffic, and like I stayed out of Suva as much as I could.
Yeah.
But no, it was quite funny. And then when I went to the Philippines, stopped in Manila, I was like, I did
Mm.
the airport. I was like, nah, I'm not going. And I ended up staying in the Philippines in Negros Oriental,
Uh,
and then like in a little village town. So it
yeah.
was like all the city life. Good for me. I can't handle it.
Yeah. No, I think like maybe like if you live in the city for a while, you just like get used to all the noise, all the people, and just like your mind just doesn't stop in some ways. And that's why I think a lot of people just like take the weekend, go to the Blue Mountains, or like
Yeah,
do a trek, do a hike, just to get away from it. So
exactly.
yeah, man.
The lights on is a bit different.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, and your NCP experience obviously was a bit cut a little bit short. But like, what were like the key standout points and the memories that you take with you as you move forward?
um, like obviously the people you meet, like you meet some incredible people out there,
Mm,
especially like locals and other international students.
mm.
I still have like good connections with local people and international students. Like I have a mate that's from Norway, like
Oh wait.
Norwegian, and we're still being connected.
That's awesome.
A few locals that are in my field that we chat every now and then to see where we're up to, what we're doing,
Yeah.
doing cool stuff in our field. So that was definitely one key point. I loved being in the tropics, just having like a coral reef on your doorstep sort of thing was really cool.
Yeah.
Being down where I am, we get corals, but we don't get coral reefs. So
Oh.
good to have that sort of that environment to go out there and actually swim on a coral reef, not just for like research or uni related.
Yeah.
So that's good. And just like whole experience is just amazing. I never would have got it being here in Australia. Just learning how different cultures, how they like react to the environment. In Fiji, they're quite aware of what plastic pollution does, what the climate change is doing to them. Because like the sea level rising that you were talking about before, it's ruining some of their crops over there because they're getting salt water coming into the groundwater there and it's killing it. So you can see the impact.
Yeah.
You can see what's happening.
Yeah.
Quite easily. Like in Sydney or in Australia, we're quite disconnected from our environment because like sea level rise isn't like as it is now isn't really affecting us.
Yeah.
It's probably affecting some people where that erosion's happening down south. But like it's not really affecting us too much yet.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of a lag being here in Australia, but over in Pacific Islands, Southeast Asia that live on coral reefs, they can see that change quite instantly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're out of touch, but we just don't see it every day in front of our faces. Like the plastic that I have, I'll just chuck it in the bin, the yellow bin, and then that's the last time I'll ever see it again. But for people living directly in the coasts who actually see the wastes and the plastic and actual effects of it, they'll see the actual plastic in the water, right? That's crazy. And yeah, I think living in that kind of a place really does, how people react to like the sea level changes and just the way of life. But in Sydney, we're also very, I guess, desensitized to it because we just can get our food from Woolies or like Coles, Aldi, and for them, they're actually going to like struggle because they can't grow the stuff. So interesting.
Especially some of those like communities living near coral reefs, they rely on their fisheries a lot, their food. So when they're starting to diminish now from overfishing and pollution and climate change, it's starting to affect their lifestyle, or they're going to have to start importing more food as well to try and address the like less fish they pull out of the ocean.
I did read somewhere. I heard briefly somewhere, and I probably will get the year wrong, but like 2050 is like when all the fishes like that, like overfishing from overfishing. There's no more fish. Okay, I'm sure there's going to be fish, but like there's not going to be enough for us to eat.
There's all different scales and all different trends and everything, but a lot of them point to 2050 being a really bleak time. I think I've seen forecasts and trends saying 2050 there might be no coral reefs left. If there's no coral reefs, there's all your fish, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like some open water fish, but a lot of the, like say mangroves, coral reefs, they hold like juveniles and shelter juveniles. There's no shelter for those juveniles, they die, and those bigger fish have nothing to eat. They're going to disappear, and then we literally have nothing. Obviously, they're trends, and hopefully we can get on top of it and turn it around and save some of these ecosystems so we still have animals.
I'm just getting flashes of like no more fish with my diet. Oh no, it's gonna be bad. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, no, mate. Yeah. And yeah, well, I did ask you this previously, but like, what are your like right now because of COVID? I think everyone's plans have, everyone's just like very cautious now, of like making plans. I had like grand scheme plans and like what this year and next year was gonna be, but yeah, like, what are your plans now? Just like looking forward.
So being in the place I'm in at the moment where I'm kind of waiting for honours to start, a bit hard to plan just because obviously honours is honours. It's only a year and if I go well at that, I go in PhD. If I don't, I'll start looking at other avenues like
Yeah.
other workforce or do my masters and try and push through a PhD through that pathway.
Mm.
It's kind of trying to weigh everything up. And obviously, being an NCP, you open a lot of doors as well.
Yeah.
You're probably starting to find out now.
Mm.
So I've got some connections up Great Barrier Reef and some other places around the world. So I'm happy to search them out if honours doesn't work out as planned. But at this stage, it's honours and then go on to research in the form of a PhD
Mm.
and look for workplace experience. And then after that, it's probably trying to use that workplace experience to come back to universities or teach people about the environment. Try and help the next generation come through.
Pave the way.
Yeah, trying to. I got to get that experience first. We can't just help people that much at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. In terms of plans, I just have to bide my time at the moment. I've been applying for work with research groups, so hopefully there's a couple jobs I'm eyeing off at the moment that are lined up. It just depends on COVID allowing university students to work as casuals. So
Yeah.
at the moment, but I try and keep all the doors open.
Mm. Yeah, and I'll touch on the future plans because, well, I know that you recently had your daughter, so congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I probably can hear her in the background a little bit as well.
She's just there playing a Switch.
Switch.
Yeah. I don't know much about that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I tried. I think I played with her the other day.
Yeah. She's just killing it.
She's getting pretty good at it, so I might have to hang it up at the moment.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's like been a lot of challenges in your life, but I'm guessing the next challenge would be fatherhood and being able to balance that out as well.
Yeah, so being a marine scientist, it's trying to balance being a father and being able to work on coral reefs. And obviously, coral reefs about 8 hours north from where I live. Obviously, I got to try and balance that. So that's the bit of my limbo that I'm in at the moment, is just like how to get that work lifestyle balance right. So and I can't really plan that until I know what's happening post honours. So we'll see how that goes. But at the moment, everything's looking like it's going to line up. And fingers crossed it does.
Yeah, well, I'm not a dad just yet. Yeah, was there anything that you did? Yeah. Was there anything that you didn't expect or think that that wasn't something that you thought was going to happen, but was like definitely all a part of fatherhood?
Well, having a kid was a bit of a surprise for me. I was actually 18 when she arrived.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm not going to have a kid when I'm young. I'm gonna go for life and do everything.
You speak things into reality, mate.
And then
Yeah.
it's not as scary as it appears. As long as you're there and you're putting in the work, it makes it a bit easier. I'm not saying it's easy. It's a kid. You got to look after somebody, but
Yeah.
you just got to take the hits and go with it. I reckon it's
Yeah.
been good. It's been hard, difficult at times, but definitely rewarding.
Yeah, like you go from like 18 or like my age right now, I'm 24. Like you can barely look after, like I can barely look after myself. So you have to now take care of a different like human being who like needs your care 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
So
I grow up quite quickly. I was like definitely in like a beach bum phase before I had it. So maybe she was the one that strained me and actually went decent because of her, but
yeah.
I think
I see. Okay. And yeah, you're obviously also a Indigenous NCP scholar, and I know you've been working very hard to promote the new Colombo Plan program for Indigenous communities, just to give more exposure and awareness to what the program can do and how it's transformed your life. So, what's been like the hardest, I guess, obstacle of actually getting that exposure and like making the community a lot more, um, aware of like the benefits and the actual program itself?
Yeah. So part of being the NCP Indigenous ambassador, it's very difficult. Obviously, COVID's made it a lot harder. I'm very much
Mm.
go speak to people, ambush them in their offices type of person. I can't really rely on my strengths as much, but really it's just trying to get the scholarship out there, saying Indigenous people can apply for it, get it promoted out there so that people know about it.
Mm.
Like I'm pushing at my university a bit more actively, so we're chasing up some potential students, emailing them and calling them up saying, hey, look, there's this scholarship here, you should apply for it. Quite life-changing
Yeah.
for our Indigenous community too. So trying to do that, it's a bit hard with COVID, so we're trying to actively do that, but also set some good footings to do it for the next year and the following years as well.
Mm.
So,
Do you find that Indigenous students or the community there is just not aware of all the opportunities that they have, and like
yeah,
is it like, I guess you're doing your own part, but is there like a greater initiative that can be put in place just to help with that in the future years to come?
yeah, it's quite hard, I think, with Indigenous communities, especially the one at our university. A lot of them just come to uni to get their degree and that's it. And
Mm.
some of them don't engage too much in the community culture as
Mm.
much. It could be different for other universities that are a bit bigger. We don't quite have that on-campus culture that some other universities might.
Mm.
So it's just trying to get them aware that there's more possibilities and opportunities at university than just getting a degree.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to push that and push the building your connections is quite important. And obviously pushing that opens more opportunities, and NCP scholarship is one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to open the community a bit more. So hopefully they're not just coming in to get a degree, because a lot of people are doing that. Come in,
Yeah.
get a degree. What's going to make you better than the next person that got the same degree?
That's
So
right.
building those communications, those connections to give you that leg up, and that's what I'm aiming for with the Indigenous community here. Trying to get more involved, and obviously this scholarship is probably one of the best ways to do that, I reckon.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's just building awareness, because our university never fills the full 10 nominations as is. So it's just building awareness of the scholarship up and just putting it out there to heads of schools and lecturers to say there's a scholarship out there. If you see potential students, let them know about it and push them towards international offices so they can find out more about it.
Mm. Yeah, I think building connections is also a part of like the NCP objective, and
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I can't really speak too much about my experience with that. I'm interacting with the Indigenous community myself. I'm very much in my own bubble here. I mean, I'm not sure if you've probably never heard of this suburb. It's called Cabramatta.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm Vietnamese by ethnic heritage,
No.
and yeah, I think with local students, and I go to the University of Sydney, where there's literally like 60,000 kids studying there
That's
and
great.
building. It is, mate. It's just insane. And like building connection, you would think that it's easy because just so many people around you, but everyone is, well, in my experience, I'm not the biggest extrovert, so you have to really find the people that you really click with and then build those connections as well. And I think everyone, well, for me, like, I think when you can't find that group, yeah, it's harder to like find and reach out to other people to build those connections
Yeah.
as well. So I'm assuming it's the same with the Indigenous community, where they're very comfortable with their own groups and their friends and communities, and yeah, anyone who's different, like, I think it's just a little bit more harder, and especially yeah, and I see that here in Sydney as well. So yeah.
Quite an introverted person as well. I don't like talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for people out there, it's really important to put yourself in positions you feel uncomfortable.
Mm,
Don't stay comfortable your whole time at university, as nice and easy as it is.
mm,
Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations does open opportunities and builds those connections at university, which obviously for me in my first year, I just done university. I stuck to myself. I didn't really communicate with many people apart from my group members or friends I actually knew.
yeah.
And then when I opened my second year, I think the first time I reached out to the community was, what was it? At the Equity and Diversity Office, where I was an outreach mentor. So I went out to high schools and public schools to talk to children about careers and university.
Mm,
And I only done that so I could practice my public speaking and put myself in an uncomfortable situation.
there we go.
That snowballed. I got noticed by the ambassador's office and they asked me to do some work with them. And then I done some work with Indigenous communities as well and the PSP program. And it kind of just snowballed and
Yeah.
myself in more uncomfortable situations, good connections, built a good resume up, and then stumbled across the NCP scholarship and all that hard work and putting myself in uncomfortable situations paid off in the end and got me the scholarship.
Yeah. That's a really good message, mate. I'm not sure if you intended on that, but like you,
Get it
huh?
across. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an extroverted person to be able to connect with people. I'm
Yeah.
not one of those people, and
Yeah.
my friends think I'm probably one of the best communicators they know somehow.
Yeah.
Which I have no idea why they think that. I'd rather just sit at home and watch movies.
Yeah. I think everyone does, mate. I think it's also like your authenticity as well. Like you, if you want to speak to someone, like being a mentor, being outreach ambassador, like at least like you have the genuine interest and genuine need and want to actually speak to people. I think
Yeah.
if you're going to speak to people just for the heck of it and really
Mm.
not build any connections out of it or really understand who they are, I think then that's yeah, I think that does make it a bit harder to actually make meaningful connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to do it, just try and find something you're passionate about. For me, it was a bit easier because I like giving back to the community and
Mm,
helping young kids trying to achieve because I didn't really have that opportunity when I was younger.
mm,
So that's what I focused towards. It was a bit of a strength, if you say, and just find that passion. You might like sport, you might like arts or something. Go help out an arts group or a sport group,
yeah.
writing group. It doesn't have to be something you don't like. It's just something that you share a passion with.
Mm, mm. No, that's interesting, mate. Yeah. Oh wow. No, like just like hearing your story, like when you're saying like putting yourself out there, and then once you, it's like taking the next step, right? And then
Yeah,
from there you build momentum.
yeah,
I think the hardest part is just to like get started.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
for
might
me.
find yourself to enjoy it, like
Yeah.
strangely enough, apparently I do. Like, obviously, like you've heard some of my stories. Like one
Yeah.
of the people that wrote my stories, she was talking to me, and she's like, "You know what? I think you like being in uncomfortable situations." Like, oh, I feel it. But like, it kind of opened my eyes up a bit more, and like,
Yeah.
you might find yourself to like it a little bit. They can
Yeah.
be quite rewarding as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're not really afraid of not taking risks, but doing different things as well.
yeah,
And I think you're like you just take it as it is. Like you're not gonna like sit there and just like feel sorry about yourself and your situation. Like, you're just gonna like do the next thing just to make things work. So
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I sit there and have my freakouts, the breakdowns, like everybody.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's part and parcel, I reckon. Have a freak out, but make sure you're being proactive.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think being proactive and just getting the ball rolling. If you don't have the ball rolling, then it's just you're not gonna like no one's gonna knock on your door and like give you that job. No one's going to knock on your door and give you the
Exactly.
opportunity to apply for the NCP. You have to actually go out there and
Yeah, you be
yeah,
proactive, do your groundwork, and you'll find things can fall in place quite easily. And that's what happened to me. I just I was just working away, just doing stuff to keep busy, and then
Yeah.
NCP, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm
Mm.
going, like I went into uni just trying to get a degree and do something in marine.
Mm.
Now I'm possibly going into a PhD, hopefully.
uh, I laugh because like that's exactly how it was for me. I
Yeah,
didn't know what I was doing in the first like 3 or 4 years of uni, which is a
yeah,
long time for me. And then once I actually reached out for opportunities to go overseas, I went to Indonesia the first time, and that just opened my eyes to like you can like get scholarships to like travel and like learn and just go overseas. It's like yeah, and that just opened up for me. So I was just obsessed, and I just tried to find as many opportunities as I can. Like
yeah,
like money out there for you to go overseas to travel
yeah.
and learn, and that's it just
Yeah.
blows my mind, mate.
That's how I stumbled on the NCP. I was actually, because I got Indigenous heritage, but I also have island Vanuatu heritage as well.
Mm,
And so partway through my degree, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to go do like some exchange in the Pacific.
yeah.
Like one of my friends said, oh, we might be partners with like Hawaii University. It's like, oh, that's cool. I'll go check it out. I was like, is there any chance to go do like an exchange program? I
Yeah.
went to the student support office. I was like, is there like a chance to exchange in the Pacific,
Mm.
Vanuatu, Hawaii or something? And they're like, oh, we don't know too much about that stuff. There is opportunities. Go talk to the international office. They sent me over there. I was like, I'll go talk to these guys. And they obviously called the international office to let them know I was coming over. They pulled up my grades and they're like, oh, there's this exchange stuff you can do, but there's also the new Colombo Plan scholarship.
Yeah.
They're like, look at it. I was like, oh, I can't be bothered to look at that. And they're like, well, if you want to do it, you need to do it tonight because we're closing nominations.
Oh
I
my god.
was like, oh, I was like, I'll look at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? I'll just apply for it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, boom. The rest is history.
Wow. Huh. And was it like your first time flying into Canberra to do you had to do that as well, I'm assuming? Flying to
Yeah,
Canberra, do the interviews. How was that for you?
that was daunting.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'm not very good under pressure sometimes, and wasn't my strongest point being a spokesperson or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like I had a few, like obviously because I've done a bit of work in the community at my university, I was lucky enough to have somebody that's been on board panels for interviews.
Mm.
I've done mock interviews with them and mock interviews with the international office. So by the time I got down to Canberra for my interviews, I knew what I wanted to say. It was just
Yeah.
I said it. But like the best advice for interviews is just act natural, be yourself.
Yeah,
Like don't try and be something you're not because they'll see right through you.
that's right.
So just try and make connections and conversation, and apparently they like you if you do that.
I did try to make them laugh, which thankfully worked. Imagine I just told it. I didn't tell a joke, but I was like trying to say something funny, and if they just didn't laugh, and I was just waiting for the reaction, it would be pretty bad.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
quite normal for people try and get some humor in there, just try and
yeah.
relieve tension. I think I'd done that as well. I was like, they giggled. I was like, yes.
I'm getting it.
If they didn't, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah. Well, I've heard of people. I spoke to Rob Maliki,
Oh, yeah, I've heard
and
of
he
that.
said, yeah, and he said like, well, our approach was humor, but yeah, there was apparently students that came in and just told like very deep emotional stories, and even yeah, shed a few tears, and that's one way as well. So just be authentic and stick to
Yeah.
your story.
Being authentic, they love it. Being a genuine person, they can see that you're a real person and that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah, man. Well, we're finishing soon, so before I let you go, you know, yeah, it's been a long journey for you. I'm sure there's like another probably like 60, 70 years for you to go, but yeah, like just looking back from now in the past, and what are the key lessons or things that you've really taken out of this whole roller coaster of a journey that you've had, and what advice would you give to the NCP community, but also the Indigenous community, if they, yeah, if they could hear it?
Obviously, so that putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, I reckon, is huge. Being proactive, doing your groundwork,
Hmm.
just so when opportunities come up, they can just slot straight into place. One big thing I've learnt during the scholarship program is to not focus everything on one opportunity and one pathway.
Hmm.
Because I find if you do that, if something falls apart or something fails, which it's more likely to do on the NCP scholarship, you'll just be stressed and freaking out because you have no other alternatives.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what I used to do is say, oh, this is what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to do. But say that doesn't work. There's these opportunities over here or these opportunities over there.
Yeah.
So if that one pathway that you really want does fail, you already know what's your backup plans.
Yeah.
I found that very useful.
It's great advice.
But yeah, just obviously keeping your doors open, don't close any, and keeping your options open.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, building connections is super important. You'll be surprised how much that'll help you in the long run. Yeah, just enjoy yourself, really. You don't want to stress yourself out too much and not enjoy it.
Yeah, you want the flow, I think.
Yeah, go with the flow.
Go with
If you
the
can.
flow, mate.
I know some people aren't worked that way, but
No, that's me, mate. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think maybe in the city as well. Like everyone's like, I need to be a doctor. I need to like do this, and they're not. Yeah. Well, for me as well. Yeah, not having the plan B or C. Uh, yeah, I think really stung me in the butt. But I think just having and being open. I think I am very open to new opportunities, but just thinking of alternatives, and if things fall through, just go to move on to the next thing. I think I've definitely learned that with COVID. I put all my eggs, literally like every single egg, into the basket for NCP. I was supposed to go on exchange this semester and then spend next year in Asia.
yeah, well, to be fair, I didn't expect COVID.
I'm sure there's like one or two people out there. Huh?
No one expected a global
No,
pandemic.
no.
If you're predicting that thing, you should go look in that line of work.
Yeah.
That is some money for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, but great advice. Yeah. I think moving forward now, at least I'm taking COVID as obviously not a blessing, but something as a lesson for me to learn. Just to have definitely plan B's and C's, and just to move forward, mate. Yeah.
Okay, keep those doors open.
That's
It'll
it.
make it less stressful, trust
That's
me.
it. Thanks. Thank you for your time, Jordan. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to all the work that you're going to be doing, and to see what interesting and amazing things that, yeah, you're going to be being able to achieve. And hopefully I can go to Queensland soon to actually enjoy the corals as
Yeah,
well.
make sure you get in there. I might not be there one day.
Yeah, sadly.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Jordan.
Have a good one.